Hello Exiles, and welcome back to the Thefirstheir build update. In this one, it will showcase my Shaman version of the build, which is by far been the funnest build I've played since I've done Tornado. Faster passing as well than Thefirstheir from 0.4. Now the biggest change is, if you can see on my character screen, is we are now no longer CI, so we do have life again, and I'm trying to stack as much armor as well, because I think armor works a lot better than energy shield with the Shaman, but I still do need a bit of work to get through that. So we'll just go over the build mechanic at the moment. We'll just go over the build and what the changes are, and how it fits well with Tornado. So the biggest changes so far is our current items that we are currently utilizing. So the first one being this Rune Seeker's Call. As you can see here, I got a six socket one. Ideally 5 socket can do as well, but if you can get 6, it makes a huge difference. And all with this one here, we're just trying to get the 9+ of all spell skills, and how we get that is through this gem here. So Legacy of Life Sprig, as well as this Hedwig's Asajana's rune as well. So because of those, they give the plus level to all spell skills. With this additional 200% increase, that's how we're getting that 9+ to level of all spell skills, which is just absolutely insane. And then as well as I've just got 4 perfect iron runes in that for the spell damage. As you can see here, I've got 420% increased spell damage. Next, so what I did with the Shaman as well is, because with the Shaman Ascendancy you can get a lot of spirit from it. We'll go over that once we get to the passive skill tree, but pretty much is what I've tried to do is stack as much spirit on the build as I can. As you can see here, my spirit is currently sitting at 1062, and the reason why I'm stacking so much spirit is for this threaded light, and I discussed this in my last build update as well, but as you can see there, it gives 15% increased spell damage per 10 spirits, which is just a huge amount, which is why I'm trying to stack as much spirit as I can, fit it anywhere I can onto the build, which is why I'm also running my Thefirstheir armor cup, and that's pretty much just for the plus 100 total spirit. Ideally, if you can get a corruption on that for an additional spirit, as you can see there, mine's plus 23. It is really nice. It goes up to plus 30, so if you can get a plus 31, it would be really beneficial. I haven't changed my amulet, so my amulet is still the same as my previous video. I do want to change it in the future. I am going to try attempt another craft, and hope so I can change that anointment, but at this stage not something I'm looking at doing. And then I've got this Grip of Kumek. I had this in my last build as well, and that's purely just for the increased spirit and the 25 spirit plus if you have at least 200 strength, which is really nice. It also does give some armor as well, which is a beneficial part. And then of course, as I mentioned in the last video as well, I was getting rid of my Law Weave to run a taming. Ideally, the most important thing with this here is if you can get higher damage or higher resis on it, it's really beneficial. And as I've mentioned before as well, I like to try to get a double corruption on all my gear if I can, because I think you get some really nice benefits out of it. And then I've recently upgraded my armor as well, to an armor energy based one. Most important things with this one here is just stacking the spirit. So 63 spirit is maxed, plus 63 I show you is maxed. I got plus 61 on here, plus an additional 20, and then a 20% increase, which is really good. And the other thing as well, because the implicit on this one here gives 30+ to spirit, so it gives that an additional spirit, which is really nice. And just with that there, so because it was crafted, just the 2 runes unfortunately which you can't change is the Medved's Tending as well as Ceres Triumph. So this one here is just so you can get the additional spirit rolls, and this one here is just to get the additional suffix, which gives me that 12% increased spirit efficiency, which is also nice. And then I've just got a Rune of Blossom in there, and that's purely just for the additional spirit, so plus 50 spirit and then -1 spirit per 2 levels. So by level 100 technically you will have still 25 spirit based on the armor, which is really nice. Now I used 2 different gloves here. So for bossing and just for single target DBTS, I usually just use this Doldress Turner Stitch Gloves. As I mentioned in 0.4, it's really nice because it just gives really high spell damage. And that's purely the only reason why I used it. I don't use it for any other reason. It's just to nuke single target bosses, really. And then while I'm mapping, I just use these here, which were very cheap to craft. I think all up I spent about maybe 5x, maybe 10x, just to get the base and then slam it. And pretty much all I wanted with this one here is just gain mana per kill, because as you're mapping you're running through, it's very quick and easy to just regenerate your mana. And then of course the chaos resistance as well, since I'm no longer CI. While I'm mapping, it gives me that plus 75 to chaos resist, which is really good. So we've got the Darkness and Throne Belt, and that's purely for the two effects of the 100% increased effect socket of augment items, as well as against all items as it was a body armor. So this is really nice. So I've just got that stacked with the Idol and Maxaris, which gives me storm skills have a +1 limit, so it allows me to actually cast up to 3 tornadoes going at a single time. So while you are mapping, it's just absolutely insane clear. And if for those of you who don't know, you can't stack tornadoes on top of each other. Only one will affect a single monster. So while you're mapping, if you cast them in different areas, at least you can be clearing a lot more than if you cast it all in one direction. It's not going to be really doing anything. And then the second gem, I got that one there, is the Carved Majesty, and that's +3 spirit per idol. And that's why I'm trying to stack as much idols as I can in pretty much all my gear, because every idol I stack gives that +3, but because I'm wearing the belt, it actually gives me +6, which is really nice. And then I've still got the same boots as before. I haven't changed my boots. I do want to look at upgrading them to an armor energy shield one, but that's not something I'm looking to do at the moment. Now in terms of my yeah, so as you can see here, now my tornado is level 40. I've still got that paired with the same things as previous. I haven't changed anything, and you can see here my damage is quite significant compared to all my other videos I made, and from 0.4 as well. I think just all the spirit stacking is it's absolutely insane for the amount of damage you can output in this. I've still got my frost bomb set up the same way, so no changes there. Elemental conflux still set up the same, no changes there. Now I pretty much, they're the only, so frost bomb tonight, the only two skills I actually do use. Everything else is just from spirit, and that's pretty much for just utility and just to make mapping a lot easier. So first one is this Eternal Rage, and that's just so you can generate extra additional rage. We'll get to rage in the minute once we go to the passive skill tree, but pretty much is because the rage is what goes with the shaman version, and it's kind of like strength stacking, but in this case we stack rage with the spirit, and it makes a huge difference. And that there is just paired with cool-headed, strong-hearted, and clarity 1. Then we're running blasphemy, and that's pretty much for the temporal change and enfeeble, which is just really nice when you're mapping. And I've just got that paired with heightened curse and magnifying effect, and as you can see there is just pretty much that. Those two rings around me. So and if I go back to my alpha here for my presence, you can see here that I got a decent sized area of presence, which makes it really nice for when you're mapping. And then I've got this iron ward here, and that's pretty much just to mitigate physical damage, and it's kind of nice because it does like this cool Nova spike effect that comes out of you as well. And that's just paired with physical mastery, Thorn Skin 2, and magnifying effect. I then have the wolf pack. This is something I just added recently. I think it's worked really well. I did have ghost shrouds before this, but I actually changed it for this wolf pack. It's a good deterrent, so that way if there are a lot of mobs coming in different areas, especially when you're doing breach and stuff, they kind of get stuck on these wolves here because the wolves pretty much jump onto them first, which makes it a little bit easier when you're clearing stuff. And I've just got that mixed in with loyalty, this Aminu's Thief, which is nice. So when they do die, I'm getting 3 additional modifiers, which is amplify your damage and speed and everything. It makes it really nice for mapping. And then bleed 3, and then main. And then my next one is bark skin, and I think this one here is really beneficial. I think once I do get a bit more armor, it will work a lot better. But pretty much is any damage hit from my enemies to your energy shield will cause you to gain armor for a short duration as well, which is nice. And then I just got that paired of vitality, mysticism, and then warm blooded. And then of course my convalescence, which hasn't changed either. That's pretty much still the same. Now if we go over to the skill tree, so we'll start with the jewels first. So there hasn't been too many changes. I'm still running the 3 of these grand spectrums for the 2% increase. Spirit, I'm still running the same rare jewels I was crafted earlier. I am going to be upgrading these ones here, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep the spell damage as well as energy shield and a 2% increased strength, but I want to try to get cast speed as well as rage in it. So if I can get rage on every single one, that would be really nice. And that's purely because the shaman version stacks damage with rage. So this one here is probably the most important one, which is this druidic champion, and that's every 2 rage also grants 1% more spell damage, which is just really nice to have. So my rage here is 47, but if I can get it 3+ on all my jewels, it'll make a big difference. And then we've got this Furious Wellspring here, so no inherited loss of rage, gives also plus maximum rage as well, and helps with regeneration. And then we've got this one here, so the Wisdom of the Magi, and that's to gain the benefits of bonded modifiers. So as you can see with all my stuff here, you can see that the bonded stuff is what gives that additional effects to them, which is good. And then for the Sacred Flow as well, so 40 plus the Spirit for every charm socket. So I've got 3 empty charm sockets, so that's literally 120 plus Spirit on top, which makes a huge difference. Now the other things as well, so I'm still running this against the Darkness Timeless Jewel, and that's still a socket in the same area, and pretty much the only thing with this one here, because we don't have Walk the Path Not Taken on Oracle Ascendancy, we can't actually connect the Resonance and Holy Palm technique and then pick everything in here. So to get these ones here without being connected to the tree, we just had to pretty much run this here from nothing Timeless Diamond, and that's so anything allocated across near the Resonance can be allocated, so I can grab those 4 there. And other than that, there hasn't been too many other changes besides running. So I'm still running as much strength as I can, because I think strength's really nice, because the more strength I can get, the more energy shield I have thanks to the Black Scythe training. And that's purely for that Heroic Strategy Timeless Jewel there. And then as you can see down here, I'm trying to get as much rage stuff as I can. So you can see that all that points there go to rage. And then that is pretty much the biggest changes. And of course we're running the Whispers of Doom, so I can run the 2 curses as well. Other than that, there's not too much else you can do with the passive skill tree with the Shaman version. It's just purely trying to just stack as much stuff as you can for strength and rage. Ideally the more jewel sockets the better. And I'm trying to get a voices, so that way there I can get the Sinister jewel sockets as well, which will make a huge difference. So other than that, they're the biggest changes to the build. I am going to be, like I said, trying to craft a few other things, but the build at the moment is working really well. So you can see here I can cast 3 tornadoes simultaneously, and it's just really nice for mapping, as you would have seen in the showcase earlier. But that's all for now. I'd like to thank everybody for watching the video, and if you do have any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to help anyone with crafting jewels or gear or anything for the build as well. Thank you.